will die. Eventually, God caused the man to fall asleep, took out one of his ribs, and created a woman who Adam named Eve. God joined Adam and Eve together in marriage. Later, a serpent came and convinced Adam and Eve to eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, saying they would become like God if they did. Eve took a bite, and then so did Adam. Because of this choice, God cursed the serpent as well as Adam and Eve and forced them out of the garden, away from the tree of life. Outside the garden, Adam and Eve had 2 sons, Cain and Abel. Cain was a farmer and Abel was a shepherd. When they made sacrifices, God accepted Abel's sacrifices of animals, but not Cain's sacrifice of crops. This made Cain so angry that he murdered Abel. People began to populate the entire earth, and wickedness and tragedy continued to spread. God regretted ever making human beings and decided to wipe them from the face of the earth. But God found one man, Noah, who walked faithfully. So God instructed Noah to build a giant boat called an ark, and to take his entire family, along with a male and female of every kind of animal, onto the boat. For 40 days it rained, and the entire earth was flooded, wiping out every living thing, plants, animals, and humans, all of it destroyed. Eventually, the flood stopped, and the ark came to rest on dry land. Noah and his family came out of the ark, and God made a promise that the entire earth would never again be completely flooded. God put a rainbow in the sky as a reminder of this promise, and God looked for someone to bless the entire world.
Now at the peak of the ceiling, you will see 9 paintings of Michelangelo that make up his artistic interpretation of Genesis 1 through 11, or Session 1 of the story. In the first painting, we see God divides the light from the darkness. In the second painting, God creates the sun and the planets. In the third painting, God divides the water from the earth. Without question, this is the mother of all science fair projects. God gets the blue ribbon. What one wouldn't give to have a front row seat in this invention. Oh, for the little construction window that allows pedestrians to peer through to gaze at the building of a skyscraper. But all of this galactical fanfare is not the point of the story. The point of the story comes in the fourth painting, the famous rendering of the creation of Adam. Again, the strong finger of God reaches out and extends life to the limp finger of Adam. This is the point of the story, the purpose of creation. The pride and joy of God's handiwork is revealed on the opening pages. What is the apple of God's eye, the magnum opus of his work? People, us, go figure. But it's true. Genesis chapter 1 says, "Then God said, let us make mankind in our image, in our likeness, so that they may rule over the fish in the sea and the birds in the sky, over the livestock and all the wild animals, over all the creatures that move along the ground." So God created mankind in his own image. In the image of God, he created them. Male and female, he created them. After God finished creating us, he stepped back and declared, "This is very good." Need a boost of self-esteem? How about some God esteem? Read Genesis chapter 1 every morning for the rest of your life. It is better than a jolt you'll get from a cup of Starbucks. Many mornings I wake up and look at myself in the mirror and say, "This isn't good." God looks at us and says, "Looking at you is better than an ocean view. It is better than watching beautiful animals dart across the Serengeti, better than watching a sunrise." We are told in the story that God places them in a beautiful garden called Eden, a botanical wonder world. We are told that God took walks with Adam and Eve during the cool part of the day. God wasn't up there, he was down here. God's grand vision was to go on walks with his children, to be in their presence. God creates the lower story so he can come down from the upper story to do life with us. God's big idea, the point of his story, is to be with us. This is God's vision. Now he needs to see if it is the vision of Adam and Eve. God is not forcing his vision on them. God wants